After years of waiting, medical flight crews are going high-tech when it comes to life-saving missions. 8 News anchor AJ Legault has details.
It takes just a moment, a snapshot in time for your life to change. A slippery road, a distracted driver, a jackknife tractor trailer, a crash. And Life Evac is called in to save your life.
Everything we do actually, speed is involved.
But ambulance helicopters have been in accidents of their own, including this one over the Potomac River in 2005 that killed Richmonder Nicole Keeler. Dozens of crashes in the last decade alone led to government studies on safety.
A lot of the accidents were occurring at night and in bad weather.
Studies showed night vision goggles were not being used. But recently, VCU's Life Evac crews were trained in their use and now use them for their dangerous night flights.
If it's dark and we're flying, we've got the goggles on.
On this night, we're flying with Life Evac.
Tonight, there's, a good moon out. We have fairly good light, so the goggles just produce, a really crisp, clear picture.
Life Evac crews say this is what they saw prior to flying with the night vision goggles.
And this is how they now see with them. They equate it to driving in the dark without and then with headlights.
Night vision goggles take the tiny amount of light from the stars or the moon and amplify hundreds of times.
It makes a huge difference.
Enabling the pilot to see in the dark and avoid flying into or landing on obstructions.
Some of the things that it's allowed us to see that we haven't been able to see in the past are some of the radio towers, power lines. It allows us to see wooded areas and water clearer at night.
The National Transportation Safety Board has encouraged the use of such equipment since 2006 to reduce the risk of deadly nighttime crashes during emergency medical flights.
So just why are area air ambulance crews just getting this essential safety equipment? Well, it has all to do with the war on terror. I'll explain tonight at 6. AJ Legault, 8 News.
From the battlefield to an air ambulance near you. 8 News anchor AJ Legault takes a first-hand look at how technology used on the field is now being used by VCU's Life Evac squads.
When life and death is measured in minutes.
Everything we do actually, speed is involved.
That's when VCU's Life Evac is deployed. But in the last decade, there have been a number of high-profile ambulance helicopter crashes.
A lot of the accidents were occurring at night and in bad weather.
Richmonder Nicole Keeler died in 2005 when her medical chopper went down in the Potomac. The crashes led to government safety studies.
The recommendation, the use of night vision goggles when flying in the dark.
VCU's Life Evac teams have had the night vision gear about 2 months.
It's changed our comfort level with some of the operations we do at night.
We recently took flight with the crew.
It makes a huge difference.
As they showed us the difference the goggles make.
If it's dark and we're flying, we've got the goggles on.
The night vision technology magnifies existing light from the stars and moon and produces a bright green image.
Some of the things that it's allowed us to see that we haven't been able to see in the past are some of the radio towers, power lines. It allows us to see wooded areas.
8 News photographer Ronnie McCrae shot the Life Evac chopper coming in for a landing. All you can see is a few lights. Meanwhile, I filmed them from inside the helicopter through the night vision gear.
It's like night and day, it really is.
The National Transportation Safety Board has encouraged the use of this equipment since 2006 to cut down on the risk of deadly nighttime crashes during emergency medical flights.
So why, 4 years later, has VCU's Life Evac just gotten them?
Obviously, we have a couple of wars going on right now.
The answer lies in the Middle East. The war on terror created a major, and some would say deadly, shortage of night vision goggles for pilots like David Kitchell, who fly medical helicopters here in the U.S.
The real priority is always in the military.
Recently, supply caught up to demand, and civilian organizations have been able to get their hands on them.
So the pilot's on them the entire time.
They're not cheap. They cost about $10,000 a pair, but if they save this crew and their patients from a potential crash, it's money well spent. AJ Legault, 8 News.